God, I hate that alarm sound.
That's the first time I've heard that. That gave me proper PTSD from
I know, right?
old school alarm clocks in my high school days.
By the fact there's a timer, it still gets you. It's like, oh no, oh no. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Awful.
Welcome to the Website Investing Show. I'm your host, Chris McColgan. I'm joined by Lianne Jones, Head of Customer Strategy at Make Lemonade.
Strategy, yeah.
That's the one. I always get success and strategy. I go, which one is it? It's a 50-50. I'm the marketing manager for Make Lemonade. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I see the chat is already lighting up. We've got Simplify Gardening, Luke, our minion, Peak196, Lindsay Adamson, Lindsay, Hannah. Hello, everybody. Hi. How are you doing, everybody? How are you doing, Lianne, more importantly?
I'm good, thank you. I'm warm. How are you?
Ungodly warm. Yes. I think all of our feelings have kind of been pushed aside because it's just warm. I'm at the stage, my particular flat, the sun is now just pointing directly at my flat, and I have a glass door onto a balcony. So this room is pretty much an oven.
Burning the side of your face.
Pretty much. I if I start to like turn, it's just because I want to get a nice golden brown going.
And if you start to melt, I'll just carry on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the plan. You're looking very lemony today. Very on brand.
I know. I'm repping the lemons. Can't say I had a niche website builder dress, but I do have a Make Lemonade dress. So.
Well, it's something we haven't looked into yet. The full, Make Lemonade fashion line. The fall collection coming up. Oh, that's going to be thing.
It needs to happen. I'm obviously, I'm forefront.
That's where we need to go now. AI can't take that job. Oh, my TikTok is just full of AI these days, and it is shocking. But we're not here to talk about AI today. We're here to talk about something much more interesting: email marketing. So yeah, I think we'll jump straight in. We do have some domain teardowns coming up later on in the show. Luke will be throwing any links into the chat that you need. But yeah, let's crack on, shall we? Because I might die in here. Let's send this over there. So email marketing tips for niche site owners. Some of these things are going to be very basic. They are going to be very introductory, but sometimes it is good to just hear those things said back. These are kind of some things that they're common knowledge, or less common knowledge, commonly assumed, and it's sometimes nice to hear them. There will be some of my own little nuggets of wisdom in there, but I think it'll be fun for everyone. So let's crack on in. So why should you utilize email marketing? The first and foremost way, it's a great way to bring diverse traffic to your site. If you are trying to position your niche content site as a business, or you're looking to not rely so much on Google for your traffic, having an email coming in can ensure a nice surge of traffic whenever you have new content going live. There are other benefits, of course. The process of building that email database can be used to leverage other things. Having more traffic, having an email database, if you want to go and speak to advertisers in the same way that our colleague Jordan has covered in other live streams, these are things that you can bring to the conversation. You have the traffic from numerous sources. You have an email database that you can reach as and when you want. It's a value add. It's a value add to your business, your niche content site, which is good. Oh, are you playing with the buttons, Lianne? Are you playing with all of the buttons, Lianne?
Sorry. I was trying to just move my head out of the way. That's better.
I just did the screen's changing, and I'm not doing it. So it was like,
I'll behave.
It's like today we're hosting, and myself and Lianne don't host very often, so there is that kind of. There's a lot of buttons on the screen right now for us. It's like, ooh.
I like buttons.
like a button. Yes, back to the benefits. Those who subscribe to your email marketing are more engaged than just people who stumble across your site on Google. They have taken actions to go, I want to hear more from you. That at some point they were positive about you enough to go, yes, please. It's a big signal, a big positive boost. Any email database that you haven't brought in, if they've come via your sign-up forms, there is a value to that. Of course, if you can go and acquire data via other means, there's totally legitimate means to do that, depending on various territories, different laws. But having a 10K list of people you bought versus a 1K list of people who just like you, there's those kind of value adds. Having that traffic come in can also benefit other marketing channels that you might have. For example, if your site is at the stage where you are using pixels, and particularly timed pixels, like people who've been on the site for the last 30 days. Having an email database means you can kind of bolster that at the start of your advertising campaigns by timing your emails in line with your advertising start. Means then people will start to be followed across the site, across the web. Also, if you're doing retargeting pixels, having that data, you can go, well, hey, you haven't seen me in a bit. Time for me to follow you literally everywhere. Facebook, Reddit, Google, I'm going to be there. And it is a great way to promote other channels as well. A lot of, you will see this in the emails you receive. At the bottom, generally in the footer, there will be social links. You can have your Facebook, your Twitter, your Mastodon, your Reddits, there's so many these days, so many platforms that you can link to. It is a great way just to have traffic bleed out and that cross-pollination. Cross-pollination, that's the term that we use in the marketing trade. Simplified Gardening is actually saying something. I've just written 7 ebooks to use as lead magnets for my website to increase my email list from 14K. I'd like to get up to 50K. Hopefully the books will help me align. Yeah, it's actually a general cool idea. One of the great things about email marketing that I don't actually mention in this presentation, and now I feel foolish, the option to segregate. You can bring lists in, depending on your provider, it can be easier or harder. You can build lists based around specific topics and then tailor content towards them. It is tricky. Like building lists from 14K to 50K is well, you've set yourself a goal there, my friend. And God loves a trier. But getting information is, especially in today's age where people are quite reticent to get any data. The fact you've got 14K is a huge achievement. And the fact you can regularly reach 14K.
And 7 ebooks as well, as Luke
You're
said.
putting in the work.
Yeah.
Well played. That's a lot. But yes, particularly if those ebooks are across different interests, you can direct traffic as you want. There are, however, the important rules of email marketing. Like anything that we do, there are rules to it. There are stuff at 72K. Oh, 72K. Oh, someone's really good at this. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You don't need me. Appreciate the support, but you don't need this.
Wow, yeah, that is phenomenal.
So the first important rule is, if it has no value to the reader, don't send it. It is so easy to think. There's that meme that goes around like corporate things. It says, this meeting didn't need to be a meeting. It could have been an email. Sometimes things didn't need to be an email. It's one of those very, very true statements. You really need to be, and one that requires you to be very honest with yourself. Sometimes you need to look at email and go, yeah, no, this doesn't need to go. This will annoy my audience. This will actually be a detriment, or this will just waste the time. Particularly when I said they have come on as a good signal, to then burn that goodwill by annoying them with pointless junk isn't great. If it's part of your systems where they're expecting like onboarding stuff or an ebook they're expecting to receive, that's one thing. If it's not part of a system of what they're receiving, it can be. Like for your ebooks, for example, I presume Simplify, when they're signing up to an email to get the ebook, it's the after the stuff. It's like, well, they've got the ebook. Do they want to hear about the latest article I've got? Do they want to hear about I'm sure the articles are grand, but there may be stuff you're promoting that just may not necessarily be of value. And because of that, the second rule is sometimes it's better to send 1 email a week than 1 email a day. I know previously in the last live stream, I hope you've checked that out, I did talk about getting into a routine with your audience in terms of social media. But the difference is that social media is so much noise, you kind of want to be persistent to make sure. With email, there is kind of that step into someone's personal space. It is an email inbox. It's not like you're going into their living room to shout at them about your latest article. But still, you want to have that reticent, that caution. It's better to be conservative than too liberal. This, of course, assumes that you maybe aren't sure about the value of content. If, for example, you're putting out a new ebook every day, or you're putting up really good content every day of the week, yeah, have that daily roundup email saying, here's something new, and it's all of value, great. If you're kind of that mindset, it's like, I've had 4 articles go out this week. Do I send 4 separate emails, or do I group them into one? Now, with a segregation of emails, you can more target. Yeah, that's the thing. But as a general rule for wider networks, you probably want to be more conservative because it's better not to burn that audience in any goodwill. Plus, there's the added benefit of say for an email with you're promoting 4 different articles in like a block standard, you get to see what your audience is more keen on. Based on that, you present them with a choice of 4 and where do they go. If they go to all 4, well done. The ebooks will explain what to expect. For time to expand them. I keep them. Promo, yeah, you go. Let's get Simplify knows what he's doing. That is for absolute certainty. Next time I'll just get him to host. Now, one of the most important rules, size doesn't matter. Depending on what kind of emails you're sending, you want to tailor the size of them. Some emails they will fill the third of a page. It will be just right there. Think of how your inbox is set up if you were to log on right now. The email takes about this much. Sometimes that's the email. But other emails will go the length of an arm. If it's a quick email, if it's an article that's gone live, or like just don't go too heavy on it. Keep it nice and short if it needs to be short. If it requires something where you need to go into a bit more information to really kind of go, I need to convince you of this, then the details are there. But you have to tie it into that value statement. Are you getting a lot of value of an email that is, if they have to scroll a lot through the email, are you going to get the same value if it was just short to the point with a call to action? There is a balancing act to this, and we will talk about this later.
I have a question, Chris, if that's
okay.
Go
for it, absolutely.
So with the length situation of an email, is there, and it may not be, and it may vary by niche, I suppose, but is there an optimal length for engagement within an email?
There's a few different schools of thought, admittedly. I personally always subscribe to, and I do this in my social planning as well, that you generally want to have the call to actions very quickly or the sooner. If you've got their attention, you want to be able to capitalize quicker. If you have a long email, because of the way emails are structured, they're generally HTML blocks. To get those call to actions in a way that looks good is tricky. You don't have the same options that a website would have or a web page would have. So you need to play very cleverly with size. If it's a particularly long email, you're going to want to have a lot of links interspersed without. But it does depend on the niche. Sometimes it's new article, brief introduction, button, go. Other times it's a bit more of a conversation. Here's why we're talking about this. Here's a bit more of a sell. It depends what you're working in. Some niches, like if it's a new recipe, there's very little you're going to go into. If it's more, I want to say, your health, your life kind of thing, your finance, that sort of stuff, maybe a bit more detail. I always forget the acronym for that. I know there's an acronym, but it's like
it's burnt into my skull.
It's like, I'm glad it hasn't yet, but I look forward to that day. That kind of stuff. Cool. It does depend what you're doing. You'll know your audience as well. There is that kind of learning you go through. It's like, okay, they respond well to this, or they do click on this quite regularly, and this is useful. The next rule, of course, is to mind the spam filter. There are a lot of features today to stop people getting emails. If you look at Google, they have the promotions. They sort automatically. You have your promotions inbox. Stuff will go. They just know the wording that you use, where you're coming from. You're obviously a business. You're obviously trying to sell. Even if you're a content site, depending on what you're pushing, it's very easy to get pushed into places. The worst, it's easy to get pushed into promotions. You definitely don't want to go into the spam. It's very, very difficult to get out of someone's spam filter because they don't see you once you go in there. You're out of sight. You don't get notifications about you. Sometimes the promotions, they push those on the inboxes. They don't push spam. You get lost in there and you don't come back, really. You've effectively, any goodwill you had is gone. Sometimes you go in there accidentally. Particularly if it's a new site, you might want to hold off going too heavy on emails until your domain and your emails have that credibility with sending non-junk emails. If you go there from day one, where Google hasn't even had a chance to index your site, expect to never get out of that inbox. I'll also question how you got the data, but yeah, it's never here to there. So what are the keys to success? Those are all the no-nos. What's the positive stuff, Chris? Come on. What's the point? What generally is the point of your email? It's the question you have to ask. What is the point of this email? Like I said earlier on, why is this an email? This is the build on that, the value statement. Why is this an email? There is a little exercise that you can do. It's a bit it feels a bit play school. You do a list of every benefit that's coming out of the email for you. We talked about those earlier on the start of the show, what the benefits are for you. Then you list what the benefits are for the reader and you send the email. Next time you're doing an email, you do the same exercise again. But when it comes to that reader list, remove anything that you can that they've already had the chance to. For example, if you've promoted your social channels at the bottom, that's no longer a benefit. If they were going to click it, they were probably going to click it in the first email. Any kind of benefit like that comes just with the structure of the email, remove that. If you're promoting the same content twice, maybe because you did one in the week and the second one's a roundup, that benefit is gone. They've already read that article. If they were going to read it, they probably would have seen it at that stage, depending on your frequency. And you just go through that. And you got to be harsh with yourself. Your values are always going to be the same. You know what you're getting from this. But for the reader, is there still reason enough to send it? It's a little silly exercise. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's really interesting.
But it works. Like it's very, but people don't normally suggest that. They normally say sign up for a course. But yeah, it is a very basic kind of thing. You got to be honest with these kind of things. Marketing is a people business, and this is a marketing exercise. You need to treat people with a bit of kindness, a bit of thought that goes into what is the point of this? And that comes back to that. When should you send emails? You'll know your audience and you'll know what works, and you'll have tried things, or you're maybe thinking about trying things. It's fine to experiment, but this is a good way to kind of temper those expectations to make sure you don't lose out from the email marketing. Now, a big one, the actual emails. I've talked a lot about email marketing in general. The subject line matters, and less is generally more. The trick is, can you hook the reader in 10 words or less? Funny enough, that sentence is 10 words. That is, if you count 10 as a word, not the number, I'm being a bit playful there. That's the or less bit. But yes, can you hook the reader in 10 words or less? That is, if you look at a subject line or even a headline of an article, you don't get a lot of real estate. And subject lines, they're the first thing to get cut off. You need to be very succinct with these. How do you get good at subject lines? You gotta be the most judgmental email snob that has ever walked the planet Earth. You probably receive a lot of emails. You probably receive a lot of spam emails, promotional emails. You've signed up to, like subscriptions to you shopped at some point, you booked some travel, you're getting emails constantly. Look at their subject lines and generally just judge the hell out of it. Go, what were you thinking? But that does not. What is that? Who's that? Interior. This does not spark joy. That kind of thing. Was that a good? Were you actually interested? Be very harsh, but look at what they also do well. Go, I see what you did there. Clever. I'm going to steal that idea and use it for my own things. Marketing is all about stealing. We all take inspiration from each other. When it comes to actually writing them, again, it's helpful to be a bit of experimental. You got to get them succinct. So write a few. Try and get different wordings. Put move your offer. If it's like new article, put that at the start with new article : and then the title of the article, or the title of the article new read now, or something like that. There's different ways you can structure it depending on what you're doing. Of course, play around. Write a few of them, then leave them alone for a bit. Then come back and look at them again with a bit of a fresh look and go, yeah, that one was definitely the best one. Get a bit of space, because when you're in the moment, it's very easy to get caught up on a good idea and go, yeah, that worked. Oh, yeah, that's the one. You come back half an hour later, or you see it in the inbox, because I assume you send yourself your own emails to test. You look at it and go, oh, yeah, that wasn't maybe not my best pick, but yeah, we'll live with that.
I've seen some really, they are good, but they've annoyed me because they're good. But I've had a few lately, and I've noticed that the subject line is phrased as if they're responding to me. I'm like, I don't remember emailing you. Oh, and it winds me up because it's good and it makes me click. And I don't like clicking on the on the newsletter.
So before I came to Make Lemonade, I ran my own business, which meant I had email addresses out in the public, which means I get anyone who scraped Google my business Oh, the amount of re or forward, and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah. What's worse is when they really lie to you. I recently spoke to you. No, you didn't. You didn't speak to
yeah,
me at all. I don't
yeah,
send emails from this account for 6 months. What do you mean?
yeah. Now I've seen a lot of the reads or the forwards, but now I'm getting like um I'm trying to think from fashion brands particularly. I get a lot of them, and it'll be like, "You asked," and I get, "What? I didn't.
Did
What?
I?
What?" Yeah, and just different phrases. I can't think now off the top of my head, but it's very smart because it does make me click and go, "Oh, I don't remember contacting you."
Yeah,
But it's annoying.
the psychology of marketing to make you think that
I know.
you're in the middle of a conversation when you weren't really.
Yes,
It's
it's absolutely that.
it's one of the little tricks we can play. I wouldn't
Yeah,
recommend personally to our niche site content owners who may be viewing this down the line. Simplify Gardening hates that as well, so
yeah,
that's how we know it's a bad idea. Simplify hates it; it's not good. Don't do it. Don't with your marketing, your niche site content, particularly if you want to treat this as a business. Don't fall like that. That's kind of it's not black hat. It's not black hat
mm.
marketing, but it's definitely in the gray, and it's in the
It's
scummy.
lazy, also, isn't it?
It's
Really?
lazy and it's in the scummy sector. You know, you go
Yeah,
into the other side of the tracks of marketing on that one. It's like we're going to judge you a little for that one. I said be
yeah,
judgmental. That's when we seriously judge you.
yeah,
Those people get very quickly on my spam list. Or yeah, I'm always tempted to like contact here in the UK the ICO because I'm sure there's GDPR complaint in there somewhere. It's like I don't know.
Oh, Karen.
Uh, oh, it doesn't even. It's not Karen when they're being scummy. It's Karen
Yeah,
if
I
it
know.
was just like I signed up for the email and then complained about the email, them sending me dodgy emails, and then me going, "How do I get you back?" It's not Karen. I will defend that with my life. But one of the keys is, and we spoke about this earlier, is finding the balance. You need to give the reader enough information to be interested, but not enough that they don't need to click anymore. It's a real temptation to go, I really want you to be interested in this. So here's a lot, here is every bit of the sell I need to give you now, or every bit of like all the information. It's like Google snippets as well. We hate those because they steal the good bits that we want people to read. It's like, no, 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 come to the site and read all the bits. Likewise, you've got Google's not going to do that on the emails yet. They're trying things, I'm sure, but you want to find your own balance. You do want to have that. Here's a bit of information, just enough to go. Yeah, you want to know about this. Click that button. That's what you. That's what you're after. At the end of the day, you want those call to actions to be met, and giving away too much information means people can make the decision before they get to it and go, nah, it's not for me. If it's a bit of a curiosity, or if you too little, to go, I don't know why I would care. Likewise, they're also going to go, nah, not for me. You haven't caught my attention. It's an attention grabber, not a here is war and peace. Um, with multiple elements, it's easier to get the balance right because you're promoting it. Maybe like we talked about the 4 different roundup posts. Um, Kind of easier because there's a few different hooks there and you can get them on different things. But again, you don't want to go option blindness and give like the entire inventory of this month in a single email of every piece of content you put live. It's going to just deter people. It's going like the scroll, 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 scroll. And if they don't delete 3 emails, you're taking up a ton of space on their, because inboxes do have spaces, but not bananas, and pictures take up truck tons of it. Um, there is also something was pretty spoke about with the frequency. It's called avoiding burnout. And there is a term from pro wrestling. It's called hotshotting the audience. So you, for those familiar with like pro wrestling, the kind of thing, you know, you have rivalries and your feuds and that kind of thing. It's this guy versus this guy, and they've been feuding for a couple of months, and they're going to be fighting this Sunday, 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 and you want to be there, but they're not just going to be fighting a normal match. Oh no, they're going to be fighting a steel cage match, and it's going to be a shark on the outside and laser beams and all that kind of stuff. That's great for your Sunday audience, but you can't do the same thing on a Monday, and you can't do the same thing on a Tuesday, and you can't run another cage match on a Wednesday, and then it just causes burnout. It's such an emotional high, particularly with a sell. Selling involves, or marketing involves, that emotional investment. You're gonna go, here is the sell. This is how great it is. Look at all this value I'm offering you. Calm. You don't want them to constantly be at that constant high because then they don't hit those highs anymore. And if those highs are needed to get them to go to that call to action, you've lost them again. They go, it's that again. I'm interested, but I don't care enough. It's the same thing, and it's always hype. Freaking laser beams, exactly. I knew I got that from somewhere in my mind. That was where, apparently. But yes, you don't want to hotshot your audience with big emails constantly. If you're a very frequent emailer, you're going to have your mundane new article live, yeah, new recipe, yeah, yeah. Then you have your big emails, and you're going to go hard on the sell, lots of call to actions, lots of buttons, all that kind of jazz. Then you go back to the calm, back to the chill. One of the ways to keep an eye on that is your email analytics. There isn't, I think, an email analytics or email send marketing program alive now that doesn't have an analytics. You can see your send rates, you can see your open and click rates, and that's what we deal in on the marketing side of things. If you're seeing that your opening rate isn't doing it so well, your click rate's starting to deteriorate, there is nothing wrong with having a cool down period going. I need to come back. They can't miss you if you don't go away. You need to leave, please. How about B2B email marketing? Is that still worth the effort? Our niche is quite exact, but covers a lot of sectors. B2B is a slightly different beast. I've done a lot of B2B marketing. I used to work in the media selling B2B news. And a lot of my career is B2B marketing. B2B marketing, there's a bit of a change in the balance. It is still worth the effort, but like we just spoke about, you don't want to go into those tricks. It is much more value led. The B2B, you're not going to go for that very short email. You're going to need a bit more information, particularly if it's in somebody you know is going to be busy. Like if you're wasting people's time, there needs to be value to it. The call to action needs to be very clear and actually say, this is what we want from you. With businesses, I find generally honesty is the best policy and clarity is the best sell. Say, this is what you're after. Here's what we're offering. Here's what we're giving you. Are you interested? It's kind of harsh, but you can go back to the B2B well more because they expect it. They expect to be sold to regularly. But if you give them value, they are more likely to invest because it's B2B. And if they see value, there's value. The fact that you have a very specific niche, but it covers all sectors, gives you a lot of wiggle room. You can segregate, of course, but you can offer different things to different people. You can focus an email per week. You can do. I lost my train of thought there because something pinged on my screen. I hate when that happens. But yeah, you can differentiate it up and you can keep things fresh. You probably don't want to go for daily emails in B2B because, again, time. You will know more your industry sectors. You'll know when people are more at their calmest. If it's a very busy Monday morning, you're not going to be a Monday morning email. If it's they're more chilled out and they're more relaxed on Friday, they're more likely to give you attention on Friday afternoon. You're probably aiming at a roundup email for them to go, here's some stuff. Maybe if, say, you're appointment based, a Friday afternoon says book a call next week when they're at their most active. Yeah, I suppose my calendar hasn't filled up yet because the Monday hasn't come in. I'll book that in now. There are tricks, but they're the nice version of the tricks. They're not the forward kind of malarkey.
And I think anything that's going to make that business person's life easier as well, rather than the hard sell, if it's something that's going to make their life easier, they're going to be far more likely to engage.
Yeah, it is. It is value at the end. It's the same with if you're talking to a B2C audience or a B2B audience or any kind of, like, the value you need to give, you'll know. And generally, the more you know about your niche, the better, and the more you know about the people within it, the better. And that comes from email marketing. You do need that responsiveness. You do need that. Oh, they actually really opened this email. Or they opened it this time. They didn't open it this time. Here's when everything happened. Yeah, and there's tons of tricks. We could spend hours talking about this, to be fair, but we are at the end of this one. So I will ask: is there any other questions from anybody? Only this provides you with opportunities at any point with all the uncertainty with Google challenges all the time. Yes,
Very good point.
Google is is a mysterious god, and they work in mysterious ways, and we can't predict what they're going to do tomorrow. We don't know when updates are coming. Sometimes there's a few like little signals, and we think they're doing something, or this suddenly changed. But the reality is, owning information and owning marketing channels is that diversity. It gives your site strength because you can say, I'm not entirely reliant on search engine. Organic is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Get a good piece of content, get those keywords, get people showing up. We write really good content at Make Lemonade, by the way. Wink. Um, but yeah, having your own stuff. This is why we've been doing these streams about social media, about email marketing. If you're treating this as a business or even a side hustle, but you want it to succeed, you need to have that mindset of that's a potential point of failure. Google just going, no,
Yeah.
and being able to get around it. Back in the day, I would tell people when it came to SEO that the three things to look for were popularity, relevance, and quality. And the popularity one is probably the one that doesn't really get talked about a lot in technical SEO because it is, let's get the keywords, let's get this, let's get how do we speak to the machine. The popularity, I don't have data to support this, but this has been an assumption of mine for many, many years that Google does look at what the kind of traffic levels the site gets as how much is that road being used, how much are people going there to factor in decision making. Having the ability to boost that traffic without Google, it kind of sounds silly, but I think it makes Google want you more. It's like, hang on, this is actually popular for other reasons. We should probably promote that as well so we don't miss out. Because Google's main cause is to serve up value. That's their business model. So them not doing that is to their own detriment. Luke asks, how do you recommend surveying an email list to better understand the people who follow you? This is actually a really good question, to be fair. It comes down to the data collection point, how you collect data. There is a thing that we talk about in marketing is the more obstacles you put in someone's way to sign up, the less likely they are to do it. And one of the first ways to do that is to collect more information because they need to type it out and fill it in. So sometimes if you're just collecting an email address, you're not going to get a whole pile of information. And that is just that's it, because there is no real data follow-up kind of thing. You're going to see it then only through open rate click rates, and you're going to build an impression based on people showing up, when they show up, what they click on to show up, in that kind of way. If you collect more information, say for example you're in the B2B space like our friend earlier on, you will maybe have company names, and you can do, if you have the resource and the time, you can go and do a bit of market research. You can go and see, well, hang on, I'm getting all these industries that are in this company. You can start to build out your own information, a lot more stuff. You can then filter that into what you do next. Because if you look for a bunch of companies, I've got this collection of sock companies. Well, I'm going to target I'll make a little segment and I'll target them with some special stuff because I know they'll be interested in it. I don't know what, assume you're in the fashion niche or the sock niche, but well played to you, sir.
Sock niche. That's the next site, is it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm always thinking of new fresh domains to put on our lovely inventory, which you're all going to check out later. Yeah, there is some great stuff for that. Lots of people. I think you mentioned you test what is good for your subscribers to the list and see what content might resonate with others on your website or YouTube. There is that kind of testing element. These people care about me. Will they care about this? Do they care about this new content? Is this what they talk about? There are other ways you can build it, of course. Some email platforms have survey systems built in. Every email marketing system is so different these days, so shop around. But some have built-in surveys. You can ask questions, you can do polling, which doesn't have the risks of, say, a Facebook poll or a Twitter poll, which is open to abuse. But an email poll or email surveys or sending people survey links to collect that information, massive sort of information that you can then use either to create new content or to figure out what to plan next. There's so many things. I see Naomi was any successful stories or case studies for us. I don't, unfortunately. A lot of my previous success stories I wouldn't be allowed to talk about for trade secret reasons. No real case studies ourselves that I know of. And need to talk. I need to talk to some people about that. I don't know if we've
You do, yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Do you have a preferred platform for email sending? So I've always used MailChimp.
MailChimp is so clean. I do enjoy
Yeah.
MailChimp. I've used ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact. They're all different is kind of the problem. Depending on what you need or what you're using it for, you'll find a better one for it. Some are integrated into other stuff. Some are doing this, and like they're all trying to sell on USP because at the end of the day, it's just email marketing. Some are, if you're very good at code, there's some that are much more. You can actually customize more. Some are just drag and drop. It is really just a case of shop around. I could say do this one, but it might not work for you. And then I feel bad.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think that's it, all the questions on that.
So
fair. That means it's time for. I get to stand down now.
No, oh no.
Yeah.
So this is normally Lois, so I'm a little bit nervous
you got
doing
this
today. And I thought I'd bring some of the OGs back. So we've got some domains on our site which I'm astounded that they hadn't sold, to be honest. So I wanted to give them a bit of limelight and a bit of love today. So that's what we're going to do. And the good thing with these as well is we actually have. Oh no! What's happened there?
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Someone's gone squiffy.
Oh
no!
So you can't see actually the money off, but basically I've chosen some domains that you've got a bit of a bargain on as well. So yeah, that's always nice. I don't have my glasses on. Can I make this screen bigger? I can. Wow, that's very big. I can't see anything else now, but it's better than me in the camera like this. So anyway, we're going to start with Mayu Sanctuary. I think that's how you pronounce it. So Mayu Sanctuary is a meditation and wellness domain. It's a DR19 and it's 13 years old, so it's got some good standing with Google there. There are 100 referring domains, and we've got some really good links within that backlink profile as well, which we will delve into a little bit further. And then I've picked out, obviously, a couple of competitors that we can look to emulate and build upon the success that they've achieved. So this domain was created 2009, 2010. It started to come online, and they were offering massages, meditation, mindfulness training, and this was all taking place in Denver. So it must have been an actual kind of practice that they ran, a physical location. As the business progressed, they did later introduce counseling, and they started to sell various products related to holistic therapies as well. So singing bowls, meditation cushions, all that kind of stuff. So this gives us a good grounding in just where we can take this domain as well, because it's already done a lot holistic wise, and there's plenty that we can do moving forward. So this was a little screen grab of what it looked like. I assume this was one of the rooms where they did their meditation, which looks absolutely beautiful. I'd quite happily have a little nap in there. And it says there that it was like a drop-in meditation center. So yeah, that was the site back in the day. So the backlink profile on this, we've got some discrepancy there. So I've got 101 referring domains. So 101 referring domains for this one. And we've got some really good news sites. Because this was obviously a local business, it's totally natural that it would get picked up in news sites and different publications. One of the backlinks that I've picked up is meetup.com, which would have been super relevant for this, because if they were doing meditation drop-ins, they would have advertised that to their audience. So a follow link from meetup.com is completely relevant. And then we've got some of those news backlinks that I mentioned there. So CBS News, which is a DR92, fantastic. NBC News, Denver Post, super relevant. Obviously, this place was located in Denver, and that's a DR87. 5280.com. I can't remember what that one was. I know it was good because I looked at it yesterday, but I've slept since then. But that
sleep.
And then 303magazine.com as well. But that's just a selection of what this domain has in its backlink profile. So the anchor text profile, as our regular viewers will know, we're looking for an anchor text profile that is very clean. There's no kind of spam within it. And we want to see those branded terms right at the top of that profile as well. So this is a perfect example of what we're looking for. We've got Mayo Sanctuary and various variations, that's difficult to say, of the brand name in our anchor text. And then you can see where some of these products came in as well, because they have anchors for images of meditation bowls, images of meditation supplies, etc., etc. So very nice anchor text profile there, and nothing to worry about in terms of any cleanup. If we move on to the best by links, again, if you're a regular viewer, you will know that we're really looking for that home page to be the priority page that is receiving links. But then we'll also have a look at the other pages that that have had backlinks historically, and where we can therefore, recreate some of those pages on the new site. So we've got the home page that is receiving the vast majority of the links in this situation. We've got a couple files and images in there which we wouldn't worry about recreating. So this would be a very easy project to relaunch. So the good stuff, what would our strategy be? So I really enjoyed doing this one because, for anyone who hasn't had my story on here before, I'm big into the holistic space. I've got a spiritual website myself, so I can see a lot of potential for this domain, and there's so much that we could cover. So as a starting point, when we relaunch this site, I would recommend that we focus on informational articles on meditation tips, offer some guided meditations, general meditation FAQs, because that's what the bulk of the age domain was. So that will really continue our relevance for rebuilding this site. We can also do some informational articles on mindfulness tips and FAQs around mindfulness, because that was another key area of this site. And then because massage was a very early feature for Mayo Sanctuary, we want to look at different types of massage and their benefits as well. So we can do listicle articles on meditation and mindfulness retreats. And I'll come on to this a little later, but these retreats are expensive, so it's a great affiliate opportunity. So starting to build up some traffic and some awareness of those retreats can really help you later down the line when you're looking to diversify your monetization on the site. And, we know that we don't want to push commercial content too heavily, but we can introduce a little bit of commercial content later down the line as well on things like, meditation equipment, which is very relevant again for what the domain had before. We can also move into informational articles on yoga when we feel that we've fully saturated the content that's already there. And the reason for that is that's just a natural continuation of the niche. You have meditation, mindfulness, yoga fits in perfectly with that. So yoga, chakras, perfect silos that we can expand upon for this particular site. So you don't have to feel that, when you've done everything meditation and mindfulness, that's it, you're done and dusted. There's so much more that you can move on to.
Would there be like a sort of a secondary strategy of down the line building like yoga routines that could then internally link back to those meditation pages as well, just like a kind of a building block kind of strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of little topical clusters you can build within this space, because you have a lot of chakra related content that relates to meditations. Mm-hmm. You have chakra work that is related to yoga. You have yoga meditations. You have affirmations. So it all links really nicely, which gives you the perfect opportunity for internal linking.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good one. I can't believe it hasn't sold. So one of the competitors that we've taken a look at is MindEasy. So MindEasy has a DR of 37, so it is a little higher than what we're looking at here, but it's a great example of what we can look to achieve within the niche. So this particular site has around 120 organic monthly traffic according to Ahrefs. So we know in reality that that's going to be a lot higher. And there are 221 pages showing on Ahrefs as well. So for the number of pages, they're getting a really healthy amount of traffic. And this one is a great example because, we can see some of the things that we've got in here. There's a lot of talk about auras and chakras, which again are areas that you can expand into with this particular domain, but also like angel numbers. So once you've kind of dipped your toe into the holistic space, there are always routes where you can take that further. So this could end up being a really large site with a lot of opportunity. And then specifically, we've got a yoga competitor, which can show you just how much can be done when you expand into a yoga silo as well. You know, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, they're all very similar, very much connected. So this is a DR35. So again, higher than what we've got on the DR that we have for sale. Chris, can you check how much is off? Because that's covered on my slide.
Sure.
I can't remember how much money is off, but I'm sure people will want to know that.
I will go and have a week gander now.
Fab, thank you. So Yoga Jala has around 174,000 organic monthly visits. They do have a lot of content. So they've got 850 pages on their website. So they're really focusing on their content velocity. And they do have a slightly lower DR than the previous competitor, but they've got, you know, more traffic. So they're a great one to emulate as well.
It would be $1,345 off. 1345.
Absolute bargain.
Absolutely.
So why did I pick these competitors and what makes them stand out and what can we learn from them as well? So nice bit of continuity there. They have newsletters, which, you know, Chris has brought you up to speed on the benefits of newsletters and email marketing. So these guys have newsletters, which is something we should certainly look to implement in the longer term. I noticed on both of these competitors, they have really strong EAT signals. Again, anyone who's listened to me speak on this live stream before, I love EAT, I love topical authority, I love topical clusters. And there were some really good signals on these sites, which we would want to emulate on MyU Sanctuary as well. Now, you saw from the number of posts that they have really good content velocity and they're frequently posting, which is going to be, you know, a huge contributor to their success. And they also had other monetization routes as well, which is so important because, you know, as we said, Google could come along and do anything at any time. So you really want to diversify how you're making money from your sites. And these in particular, these competitors in particular had courses, which is an excellent way to have an additional money stream. So with the revenue opportunity, oh, this is going a bit squiffy as well.
What's happened here?
I know. With the revenue opportunities in this particular niche, you're going to start with display ads because we're going to recommend rebuilding this site with informational content. We want to build up your, you know, keywords and your traffic as soon as possible so that you can get display ads on the site and start to monetize that way. There's so much that you can do to diversify that revenue and future-proof yourself against any changes in the SERPs as well. So affiliate income, as I mentioned earlier, will be a good one. So you can have products related to mindfulness and meditation, singing bowls, not always super expensive, but they can be. Massage tables I bought when it was like £150 in the UK. So you're going to get a good bit of kickback on that. So there's loads and loads of different products that you could promote over time. I'd also recommend looking into affiliate partnerships with companies who offer those wellness retreats because, as I said, they're really expensive. You know, you're looking at several hundred pounds or dollars for a weekend away on one of these wellness trips. So if you can work to promote those retreats and have a private partnership with the companies that run them, you could have a nice money income stream. Income stream. What happened? You have a really nice income stream if you can partner up with some of these people. Another idea I had, you know, podcasts are popping up all the time, and they can get quite a cult following as well. So you could create a wellness podcast for a site like this, newsletters, as I mentioned. You could do deals even with holistic therapists. You know, they charge a good amount per hour. You could, you know, do some sort of partnerships with therapists as well. And then you can also offer your own wellness and healing courses, as we saw with some of those competitors there. And I'm sure you're all very familiar with our growth kind of planning here. So you can see just how much, you know, if you want to have a certain amount of revenue every month, you can see just how much you have to invest into your site in terms of, you know, the DR and also the pages on the site to generate that sort of income. So that was domain 1. Now moving on to domain 2, which again, mysterious. We don't know how much money is off, but Chris will tell us.
$897.
$897. So this one
is in the chat shortly, so you can go buy it right now while we're talking. Oh,
amazing. I'm going to inspire you so much. You're just going to go and click and add it to your basket. So the Briar Rose blog was a fashion site, well, fashion and lifestyle really. It's got DR of 18. and it is around 10 years old. So again, this is a great backlink profile on this one, which we will delve into now. So this site was launched in 2012 by Megan. So she was based in the UK. She was an English literature student and I think a creative writer as well. But she ran this fashion and lifestyle blog really as a passion project. So annoying that this used to happen a lot around that era. You know, everyone launched a fashion and lifestyle blog and then made hundreds from it when they were just, you know, posting about what they enjoyed doing. I'm just jealous because I didn't do that.
If only, you know, you think about, I had so many passions back then before the world ground me down.
Infuriating. So yeah, that's the history on this one, and yeah, great kind of foundation for what we can build upon. So this is what it looked like at one point, which is very cutesy. And then if we take a look at the backlink profile, we've got some really good links in this one. So Cosmopolitan DR18, you can't ask for better
89.
for a fashion and lifestyle. Oh, what did I say?
18.
Oh,
so
let me have a drink of water.
Somewhat lower than an 89.
Yeah, my poor brain is dehydrated, maybe.
Bigger numbers.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
DR89. You can't get any better than a Cosmopolitan link really for a fashion and lifestyle blog. So
holy grail of fashion, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I've been subscribed for years.
I knew you had.
I'm so stylish.
It's that makeup routine I see you do. So yeah, absolutely outstanding link, which you just, you know, you can't get links like that easily. Hercampus.com was again a very, very relevant link, all to do with kind of fashion and lifestyle. Lookbook, I remember the days of Lookbook from previous jobs that I've done. So that's a DR77 link that's been picked up there. Naturally Curly was all about, again, fashion and beauty. That's a DR74. Rock and Roll Bride.
That's what it says on it, from a marketing perspective, that's a really good bride. I love Rock and Roll Bride. That's just, oh, well done you.
Cracking URL, isn't it? I know. And DR73 as well. And that's just a sample of what was in this backlink profile. It's, yeah, excellent profile. And then again, if we take a look at the anchor text, we can see that it's very clean. We've got Briar Rose, the Briar Rose blog. Megan, as I said, that was the lady's name. So we've got lots of opportunities here. We've got some cool stuff like Sleeping Beauty, Make It Blue cosplay. I think that's the only one that's in there, actually. Yeah, everything else is pretty much branded, but all looks very good on that front. And then Best by Links. So there it is. Look, there's that Sleeping Beauty one. So that's got 14 referring domains. So we probably want to recreate that one. The Bride Wore White, Young Marriage, 8 Common Questions. So there's a few in there that we would look to recreate as actual pieces of content and do page-to-page redirects. But we've got those homepage top pages right at the top, which is what we'd be looking to see. And then our strategy. So informational articles on how to style different items of clothing and match different outfits. Informational articles on hair and beauty as well. So we don't have to just stick to fashion on this one. What to wear for various events, so weddings, interviews, etc. We can do lots of listicle fashion articles and beauty articles. And listicles are great because you have loads of images in there, which means you've got lots of opportunity for ad space on your site. And then the site can also expand into commercial content later. And, you know, there's loads of, I wouldn't recommend, you know, Amazon's going to be a starting point, but explore those private affiliate opportunities as well to really boost your income.
And we have a live stream on that if you want to go have a look.
Yoo-hoo! So a quick look at some of the competitors then. So looks like Candy. This is a DR14, so it'll be great for us to tomb raid. If you don't know about our tomb raiding technique, then we also have a video on that one. See, I can do this, Chris.
Oh.
So looks like Candy, DR14, but 167,000 organic visits per month, which is incredible. 349 pages, so they've taken their content velocity really seriously and they're regularly posting. And we can see in here there's a lot of stuff about hair, nails, and then also tattoos, which is an interesting, you know, add-on. It's part of the, you know, beauty and fashion industry in a way, I guess. Yeah. So it's quite a unique opportunity to look into that later down the line, but we don't want to do that too soon. And then we have Lady Refines. I kept reading that wrong yesterday, but it's ladyrefines.com. Again, DR14 with 44,500 visitors a month and 581 pages on the site as well. So again, this would be a great one for us to tomb raid. And we can see that the kind of content that they're covering is exactly what we'd want to look at as well. So what to wear line dancing. I don't know why my eye was drawn there. I don't go line dancing, but what to wear line dancing.
I, for one, am very curious.
Yeah, me too. What to wear to a sneaker ball. I don't know what that is, but yeah, loads of stuff.
What is a sneaker ball? Is the internal linking opportunity right there.
Yeah, but this is the exact stuff that I was mentioning in our strategy. You know, what to wear for various occasions. So there's an example of them in real life out in the wild. And why did I like those competitors in particular? Well, the content velocity was excellent, and great success on such low DR domains as well. They both had social profiles, which is very important, for EAT, but also just to, as Chris was saying, diversifying your traffic streams as well. And there's absolutely loads of opportunity for topic expansion. I think a lot of people worry with a niche like this because there are so many fashion and lifestyle blogs. And yes, there are. It's a very saturated niche, but there are always ways into the niche, and there are always, lower difficulty keywords that you can target. So please don't feel that there's, not enough that you can do, or there's too much already in this space for you to join it, because that's definitely not the case.
Particularly with an age domain of this kind of quality, this is the shortcut to get through. You're not starting from scratch here. You do have that strength coming behind you. Make the most of it and get in the space will get traffic and the dollar.
Yeah, 100%. We know it's an industry that's not going anywhere, So the revenue opportunities on this one. So again, we want to start with those display ads by building up the informational content, getting your keywords and your traffic into the site, and then we can add display ads onto the site as well. But you can also diversify by having affiliate income via Amazon. But I would look at those private partnerships instead, because you'll get much higher kickback.
Oh, definitely.
Subscription boxes as well. Subscription boxes have absolutely blown up in the beauty space. Yeah, I mean, and TikTok as well. I didn't put TikTok on here specifically because I'm very aware that, if you're doing this as a side hustle, it is a hell of an investment to do TikTok. But if you can do stuff with TikTok Shop in the beauty and fashion space, you're laughing. But as a starting point, affiliate income from subscription boxes, because there's an absolute ton out there of beauty subscription boxes.
Particularly if they offer recurring revenue. That's
exactly. Yeah, I'm on the ball. Newsletters again, deals with salons, have a look at salons that are willing to work with you, and you can refer people to those. And then courses on beauty techniques as well. So nails would be a great example, learning how to do acrylic nails at home. You could do a course on that on your site. So loads of things that you could do with that one as well. Two very, very different domains, but hopefully I've helped you see the potential in both of them.
Yeah, those were awesome. Thank you very much, Lianne, for that.
How do I leave the big screen? Like that. There we go.
I press that little button and it goes away. Then you go, and then we do that, and then we're back to normal. Hooray! We did it. We did it, Lianne.
We did it. Made it through. Nothing's on fire. Look at that. Bang on 4 o'clock as well.
And last time I revealed my own niche on the middle of the stream. I didn't make that mistake this time. It was great crack.
Professionals. That's what we are.
We're not the ones who normally do this. Everyone just happens to be on summer holidays, and we were who was left behind.
I don't know. We're the stragglers.
Does anybody have any questions on any of the age domains or any follow-ups on the email marketing? Now would be the time to shout out before we disappear to melt into puddles elsewhere. Let's find out. Just give that little delay, because that's how technology works, and actually let people feel pressured. Pressure. But yes, do check out the age domain inventory on the site. I will grab you that link right now, because I am just so lovely like that. Go to.
I can see. There we go. I can see Lindsay is saying, if anyone wants to talk about these, to let her know. But equally, if you want to chat to me about the strategies that I've planned out, either on these or on any of the others, I'm always happy to chat.
You can reach out via the chat function on makelemonade.agency. There are multiple ways to book a call with us via the site as well. So don't feel you can't. Our team is always happy to Someone is asking if there'll be.
This is distracted. Happy
Yeah.
to.
No. Yeah, there's tons of places you can chat to us. We are always happy to help in any way that we can. To the Facebook user, unfortunately, I can't see your name. There will be a replay. It should be available on YouTube immediately after we stop being live, so you can watch this and catch up. And yeah, I believe my colleague Luke will also be promoting this in various clips and forums and that kind of stuff to see the full thing. So if you forget about it, don't worry. There'll be reminders coming up soon enough. But yeah. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll call it there. Thank you very much for being my co-host today, Lianne.
And thank you, Chris, for hosting. Stellar job.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And with that, we shall leave. Fare thee well, everyone. Have a good one.
Fare thee well.
Until next
Bye.
time.